Hello? Yes. Oh, we're live now? Oh, good afternoon, students of Mr. Chandler's history class. I am Alexis Walker coming to you with breaking news. New artifacts and information have surfaced regarding the Khmer Rouge from 1975. This is a news broadcast brought to you by myself, as well as Sebastian Richardson, Maddie Richardson, Sierra Sauls, and Jordan Hightower. You may be wondering, what is the meaning of Khmer Rouge? Khmer Rouge translates to red Khmer. Rouge is the French word for red, and Khmer is an ancient kingdom located in Southeast Asia. It is a Southeast Asian ethnic group that is native to Cambodia. Going on, what exactly was the Khmer Rouge, or the regime? It started as the Communist Party of Kampuchea, ruling Cambodia, perpetrating genocide, killing off the population. It was a brutal regime that ruled over Cambodia with a strict one-party rule. They made people do agricultural work, like produce rice. During this time, civil war erupted, and there was a takeover of the capital, as well as the government was overthrown. There are many parallels between the regime of the Khmer Rouge and the regime of Hitler during the Holocaust. Just as Hitler wanted to do, the ruler of the Khmer Rouge wanted to create a master race. Now, passing it over to my partner, Maddie Richardson, with who was the leader of the Khmer Rouge.
Sar, later known as Pol Pot, formed the Communist Party of Kampuchea, later known as the Khmer Rouge movement. He was a political leader who led the Khmer Rouge regime. He was a politician, a dictator, and revolutionary, as well as the former prime minister of the Democratic of Kampuchea. He was born May 19th, 1925 in Perk Suave, Cambodia, and he died April 15th, 1998 in Analong Veg, Cambodia. He was divorced twice and had one child.
As I stated earlier, the Khmer Rouge started as the Communist Party of Kampuchea that perpetrated genocide, killing off the population. Deaths occurred due to execution, starvation, disease, and exhaustion. During this time, roughly 1.5 to 3 million deaths happened. The Khmer Rouge targeted ethnic minorities such as the Chinese, Vietnamese, and Muslim Cham. Now, passing it over to Maddie Richardson with when and where.
Greetings to you all. My name is Madison Richardson, reporting live from the country of Cambodia. Here today to give you all a detailed report on the Khmer Rouge and where and when it took place. The Khmer Rouge was a communist political group that ruled Cambodia from 1975 to 1979. Led by Pol Pot, the Khmer Rouge aimed to create a utopian agrarian to society by eliminating all traces of modern civilization, including money, religion, and education. The Khmer Rouge gained power in Cambodia after years of civil war and political turmoil in 1979. They experienced help from Prince Norodom Sihanouk, the country's leader, who was ousted in a coup by General Lon Nol. The Khmer Rouge, who had been fighting against the government, joined forces with Sihanouk to fight against the new government. In 1975, after years of fighting, the Khmer Rouge finally took control of the capital city. They immediately began implementing their radical ideology and forced the city inhabitation to evacuate and move to the countryside, where they were forced to work in labor camps. Under the Khmer Rouge regime, over 2 million people were killed or died from starvation, overwork, and diseases. Many of the victims were intellectual professionals, and anyone suspected of being associated with the previous government experienced severe consequences. In 1975, the Vietnamese armed invaded Cambodia and overthrew the Khmer Rouge. Pol Pot and the other Khmer Rouge leaders fled to the jungle, where they continued to fight against the Vietnamese back-end government. They remained in power in some areas of countries until the late 1990s.
Now, passing it over to Jordan Hightower to talk about the timeline of the Khmer Rouge regime.
Breaking news. We have established a timeline for the Khmer Rouge. It ruled in Cambodia from 1975 to 1979. Marshal Lon Nol staged a coup forcing Prince Norodom Sihanouk out of power. And on April 17, 1975, the Khmer Rouge seized Phnom Penh, completing their task over their country. In the late 1977, fighting breaks out between Vietnam and Cambodia. May 25, 1978, Khmer Rouge pursues the East Zone. On January 7, 1979, the Vietnamese take Phnom Penh, beginning 11 years of Vietnamese occupation.
Here we can see a map of Cambodia in relation to the rest of the world. Cambodia is located in the southeastern part of the Indochina Peninsula in Southeast Asia. So right in the middle of that map, that dot right there, that is Cambodia. To go on, we can see where the killing fields were located. Killing fields are a number of sites located in Cambodia where more than millions of people were killed during the brutal regime of the Khmer Rouge.
Now, passing it back over to Sierra Sauls with killing fields and policies.
A number of locations in Cambodia where the Khmer Rouge dictatorship is estimated to have slaughtered and injured more than 1 million of people. If you look here, then you can see that there's a sign acknowledging those people, including children, that has been beaten in that area. There were many rules that had to be followed at this time. All religion was banned. There was no music, no radio. Money was abolished, and all aspects of life were subjected to regulation, meaning everyone had to follow the rules. Everyone. People weren't allowed to choose their spouses, and they could not leave assigned workplaces, nor could they pick their own clothing.
Here we can see a map of the killing fields of the Khmer Rouge during their brutal 4-year regime. So this is a map with some of the locations. As you can see on the left-hand side, there are different bombing points located, prisons, memorials, and burial sites.
Now, passing it over to Jordan Hightower with principal characters.
The Khmer Rouge Psych Report came back. They're a radical Reagan ideology based on one strict party rule, rejection of urban and Western ideas, and abolition of private property. They believed that increasing food production through communal farming would guarantee economic security for Cambodia's predominantly underprivileged village residents.
Now, passing it over to Sebastian Richardson to talk about the Genocide Museum dedicated to the Khmer Rouge regime.
On this slide, I will be talking about Tuol Sleng Genocide Museum. This museum is located in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. This is also a memorial site of the S-21 interrogation and detention center of the Khmer Rouge regime. The museum aims to promote peace in the hope that the terrible crimes of the Khmer Rouge period are not repeated. S-21 was discovered in January 1979, which contains confessions, biographies, photographic prints, photographic negatives, lists, Revolutionary Magazine, and Khmer Rouge handbooks.
As my partner Sebastian Richardson just talked about, this museum, you can see in the top left corner, Building A, that contains 3 stories divided into 20 cells of where this prison was held. In the bottom, you can also see the different prices and admission fees to get into this museum. As you can see, non-Cambodian adults are $5, as Cambodian citizens are free of charge to be able to go and tour this museum.
Here, you can see some of the extensive documents located in the Genocide Museum. From Khmer Rouge notebooks, there are 279 items. From the Revolutionary Magazine's 95 items. From photographic prints, 7,405 items. From the negatives, 7,887 items. Biographies have 7,061 items. And confessions have 29,401 items in the Genocide Museum. And this is not it. There are more documents that are in the museum as well. Now, passing it over to my partner, Jordan Hightower, with part 1 of the outcome to the Khmer Rouge regime.
The outcome for the Khmer Rouge was removed from power when Communist Vietnam invaded in January 1979 and established a pro-Vietnamese regime in Cambodia. Many survivors fled to refugee camps in Thailand. Of these, many went on to immigrate to the United States.
Now, passing it back over to Sebastian Richardson to talk about part 2 of the outcome to the Khmer Rouge.
I'm going to talk about part 2, the outcome of the Khmer Rouge. Khieu Samphan was found guilty of crimes against humanity and sentenced to life imprisonment. Cambodian former communist politician and economist, former chairman of the State Presidium of Democratic Kampuchea from 1976 through 79. Only 3 people were convicted by the extraordinary chambers in the Court of Cambodia. It took 10 years to set up and ran hearings for 13 years, which cost more than $300 million. Khieu Samphan's colleague, Nguyen Chie, which is brother number 2, was arrested in 2007 and given a life sentence in 2014 and died in prison. The first one was convicted in 2010, Comrade Rouge, who ran the Tuol Sank Torture Center. Only 12 out of 20,000 detainees survived.
This is an overall collage that has been put together to show some details from the Khmer Rouge regime. Thank you.